You're tired of hearing the same tired advice, aren't you? Work hard, save your pennies, hope you get lucky, blah blah blah. Here's the brutal truth. If that's all you've got, you'll be stuck in the rat race forever. Wealth isn't built on hope or hustle alone. It's built on focus, patience, and the strategy that actually works, not the shiny fake promises you've been sold. So let me ask you this. Why is it that so many people claim they want success, but when it's time to actually take action, they sit on their hands and whine about the odds? Are you going to be one of those people who talks about getting rich, or one of the few who actually does what it takes? You don't get to play the victim and then cry about not making it. This is about getting smarter, staying focused, and doing the work that most are too lazy or scared to do. So if you're tired of pretending, stick around. We're about to break down what really matters when it comes to wealth, and trust me, it's not what you've been told. Welcome to Self Mastery Labs. Let's get started. Chapter 1. What's the real starting point? Let's cut the crap right now. Your starting point isn't your problem. It's your excuses that are holding you back. You sit there scrolling on your phone, blaming the cards life dealt you, while someone else with worse circumstances is out there turning their unfair start into a winning hand. You think Bill Gates became a billionaire because he was privileged? Sure, he had advantages, but privilege didn't write the code or build Microsoft. He did. You think Elon Musk became the richest man in the world by whining about his tough childhood? No. He took risks and worked harder than anyone around him. Stop romanticizing or villainizing privilege. Yes, it's real. Yes, it matters, but it doesn't define you. You know what does? Your actions. Warren Buffett didn't inherit a fortune. He started small, invested wisely, and grew his wealth one calculated decision at a time. That's the real truth. It's not about where you start, it's about where you aim and whether you're willing to do what it takes to get there. But it's not fair. Oh, boo freaking who. Life isn't fair. It wasn't fair for the kid born into poverty, or the immigrant who had to learn a new language while working 2 jobs just to scrape by. And guess what? Some of them still made it. You're not special for having obstacles. Everyone has them. What makes you special, or pathetic, is how you deal with them. Here's the thing, complaining about privilege is a convenient excuse to stay mediocre. Sure, the system is rigged in places. Some people start closer to the finish line. So what? Are you going to let that stop you? Or are you going to find a way to win anyway? Newsflash, crying about inequality won't make you rich. The system doesn't care about your feelings. It rewards results, not excuses. Look at history. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men of all time, started as a poor immigrant. Oprah Winfrey grew up in poverty and became a billionaire. They didn't sit around griping about how others had it easier. They focused on what they could control. That's what separates the winners from the whiners. And let's talk about focus, because that's the real secret. Most of you don't lack talent. You lack focus. You're too busy binge watching Netflix, doom scrolling on TikTok, or whining about how Jeff Bezos already took all the wealth. You spread your energy so thin that you're shocked when nothing pans out. Well, newsflash, nothing grows in a field you never water. Focus means picking one thing and doing it better than anyone else. That's how the greats do it. Gates didn't dabble in 10 different industries. He honed in on software. Musk didn't waste time on hobbies. He went all in on technology and innovation. Buffett didn't gamble on flashy trends. He mastered investing. But what if I don't know what to focus on? Another excuse. You don't need to have everything figured out. Find something, anything that has value and start there. Passion isn't the starting point. It's the reward for getting good at something. Stop waiting for a magical epiphany and start building. You think passion will just fall into your lap while you're sitting on the couch? Get real, and let's address the lie you tell yourself. I don't have time. Really? You don't have time to invest in your skills or build your future, but you somehow have time to scroll Instagram for hours? You have time to complain to your friends about how hard life is, but no time to read a book or take a course? Let me be brutally honest. You're not busy, you're just lazy. Success doesn't care where you started. It doesn't care if you grew up rich, poor, or somewhere in between. The only thing that matters is whether you're willing to do the work. You've got the same 24 hours in a day as everyone else. It's how you use them that determines your outcome. Bill Gates started his journey in a garage. Musk sold code as a teenager. They used their time wisely. What's your excuse? So, what's the real starting point? It's right where you are. Privilege, struggle, or somewhere in the middle. None of it matters as much as you think it does. What matters is where you aim and how hard you're willing to work to get there. Your starting line doesn't define your finish line, but your excuses will, if you let them. So stop lying to yourself. Stop blaming everyone and everything for why you're not where you want to be. Take responsibility, aim higher, and start moving. Because while you're sitting there crying about your starting point, someone else is out there turning their disadvantages into wealth. The only question is, will you be the one who makes it, or the one who keeps making excuses? Chapter 2. Is talent enough? No, talent is not enough. And if you think it is, you're delusional. Let me guess, you've been told your whole life that you're special, that you're talented, and that one day the world is going to recognize your brilliance. Spoiler alert, it won't. Talent without focus is worthless. It's noise. And if you think being gifted is your ticket to success, then congratulations, you've already lost. Here's the ugly truth. Nobody cares about your potential. Nobody cares about how talented you could be if only someone would notice. The world rewards what you do with that talent, not the hypothetical greatness you daydream about while procrastinating. Talent is like a seed. If you don't plant it, water it, and tend to it with focus and determination, it's just going to rot in your pocket while you sit there wondering why nothing's growing. But I'm talented. Yeah? So are millions of other people. Guess what? Being talented doesn't make you special. Everyone has some level of talent in something, but most people squander it because they're lazy, distracted, or too busy making excuses. You think you're the only one who can sing, draw, code, write, or play basketball. Think again. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't talent. It's focus. Focus is the engine that turns talent into results. Without it, your talent is just a shiny object sitting there doing nothing. Most of you can't focus to save your lives. You're too busy checking your phone every 5 minutes, jumping from one half-baked idea to the next, and pretending that multitasking is some kind of superpower. It's not. It's a surefire way to ensure that your talent goes absolutely nowhere. Look at the people who are at the top of their game. Michael Jordan, Elon Musk, Beyonce, Steve Jobs. Do you know what they all have in common? It's not just talent, it's an obsessive focus on their craft. Jordan didn't become the greatest basketball player of all time by coasting on natural ability. He worked harder than everyone else, practiced longer, and cared more. Musk didn't revolutionize multiple industries because he's the smartest person in the room, though he might be. He did it because he's laser focused on executing his vision. Beyonce didn't dominate music by winging it. She rehearses, refines, and delivers. So, what's your excuse? You've got talent, right? Then why are you still stuck in the same place you were a year ago? It's because you lack the determination to focus on one thing and master it. You keep chasing the next shiny object, hoping for an easy shortcut to success. Here's the harsh reality. There isn't one. Mastery requires focus, discipline, and time. You don't get to skip those steps because you think you're special. And don't give me that crap about how you just haven't found your passion yet. That's the laziest excuse of all. Passion doesn't come first, it comes after. You think Warren Buffett was passionate about reading financial reports as a kid? Hell no. He became passionate about investing because he got good at it, and the results fueled his drive. Stop waiting for some magical spark to ignite your passion and start focusing on something that has value. Get good at it, master it, then watch how quickly the passion follows. And let's address the myth that talent alone guarantees success. You know what's better than talent? Determination. Determination eats talent for breakfast. Determination shows up every day, works harder, learns faster, and outlasts everyone else. You can be the most talented person in the world, but if you lack the grit to stick with something and put in the hours, someone with half your ability and twice your focus is going to run circles around you. You're not failing because you lack talent. You're failing because you lack focus. You can't commit to one thing long enough to see results. You dabble in this, dabble in that, and then wonder why you're not successful. Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop blaming the system and stop blaming everyone else. The problem is you. Here's what you need to do. Pick something, anything, that people will pay for and get really, really good at it. Don't worry if it's your true calling or if it makes your heart sing. Worry about whether it's valuable and whether you can excel at it. Then focus on it relentlessly. Block out the distractions, the doubts, and the excuses. Pour everything you've got into it, because at the end of the day, talent is only potential. Focus is what turns potential into reality. So stop hiding behind your talent and start proving it. You've got the ability, now show the world you've got the focus to match. Until then, don't bother whining about why you're not where you want to be. The only person standing in your way is you. Chapter 3. How do you keep wealth once you earn it? Let's cut the crap. Most of you will never keep wealth because you have no idea how to handle it. You think the hard part is earning the money, but the real challenge, the one most of you fail miserably at, is keeping it. You love to tell yourselves that if you just made more, everything would magically fall into place. Newsflash, it won't. Your salary won't make you rich. Your spending habits will. Oh, but you want to flex, don't you? The second you get a raise or a bonus, it's straight to the dealership to upgrade your car or to some overpriced vacation you can't afford, because you've convinced yourself that looking rich is more important than actually being rich. You can't resist the dopamine hit of buying something shiny and useless just so you can post about it on Instagram. Congratulations, you're broke with a side of clout. Here's the brutal truth. Wealth doesn't care how much you earn, it cares how much you keep. You can pull in 6 figures a year and still be one paycheck away from financial ruin because you're too busy chasing status symbols to think about stability. Meanwhile, the person making half your salary but living below their means is building actual wealth while you're drowning in debt. You're not rich, you're just playing dress up with borrowed money. And don't start whining about how life's expensive and you can't save because insert excuse here. Everyone's got bills to pay, but let's be real. Most of you spend money on stupid crap that adds zero value to your life. You eat out 5 times a week, upgrade your phone every year, and blow money on subscriptions you don't even use. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're a victim of your own lack of discipline. This is where stoicism comes in. It's not some abstract philosophy for monks or academics. It's a practical, no-nonsense guide to managing your life. Stoicism is about controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't. And guess what you can control? Your spending. Stop acting like your wallet is a runaway train you can't manage. You're the one making the decisions, so own them. Living below your means isn't a punishment, it's a strategy. You don't need to ball out on every paycheck to prove your worth. You think Warren Buffett is eating gold-plated steaks or buying a new yacht every week? No. He lives in the same modest house he's owned for decades, and he's one of the richest men alive. Why? Because he understands that wealth isn't about showing off, it's about staying rich. If you're serious about keeping your wealth, you need to stop confusing needs with wants. Do you need a luxury car, or do you just want to look successful? Do you need a $500 pair of sneakers, or do you just want validation from people who don't matter? Every dollar you spend is a vote for your future, or against it. Invest wisely. That doesn't mean gambling your life savings on crypto or jumping into the latest get-rich-quick scheme. If you're investing in something you don't understand, you're not investing. You're gambling, and the house always wins. Instead, play the long game. Diversify your portfolio, stick to low-cost index funds, and give your investments time to grow. Compound interest is your best friend, but only if you have the patience to let it work its magic. Here's another thing you don't want to hear. Wealth isn't freedom if you're a slave to your impulses. The constant need to consume, to upgrade, to impress, it's a trap. The real flex is financial independence, not the fleeting thrill of buying something you don't need. You think you're living large, but you're just digging yourself into a hole you might never climb out of. Let's get one thing straight. Being rich isn't about how much you earn, it's about how little you need. The less you rely on external crap to feel good about yourself, the more control you have over your life. That's what stoicism teaches you. control, discipline, and the ability to focus on what actually matters. So stop blaming your lack of wealth on your income. Stop pretending you're a victim of circumstances when the real problem is your inability to manage what you already have. You don't need to earn more. You need to grow up and take responsibility for your financial decisions. Because if you can't learn to live below your means, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you'll never be rich. Until you learn to control your spending, you'll always be one bad decision away from losing it all. So, go ahead, keep buying crap you don't need to impress people you don't like. But don't come crying when you wake up broke, wondering where it all went. The answer is simple. It went to your inability to act like an adult with a bank account. Grow up, stay disciplined, or stay broke. Your choice. Chapter 4. Why is time crucial? Because you're wasting it. Let's get one thing straight. Time is the most valuable asset you'll ever have, but most of you treat it like it's infinite. You're sitting there scrolling, procrastinating, and waiting for the perfect moment to start building wealth. Spoiler alert, that moment isn't coming. Time isn't going to wait for you to get your act together. Every second you waste thinking about what you could do is a second you'll never get back. Here's the brutal truth. Time is the ultimate force multiplier in wealth creation. It doesn't matter if you're not earning a six-figure salary yet. It doesn't matter if you can only invest a small amount right now. What matters is that you start today. Compound interest doesn't give a damn about your excuses. It works for the people who work with it. Every day you delay is money lost, and once that window is gone, it's gone for good. But let me guess, you're one of those people who thinks they have plenty of time. You'll start next year or the year after that because you're too busy now. Busy with what? Watching Netflix, keeping up with TikTok trends, going out every weekend to spend money you don't have on crap you don't need. Your busyness is just a cover for laziness, and deep down, you know it. And then there are the geniuses who think they can time the market. Let me break it to you. You're not smarter than the system. You're not Warren Buffett, and even he doesn't waste time trying to time the market. You're sitting there, waiting for the perfect dip to buy in, while someone else is already 10 years ahead of you because they didn't waste their life obsessing over short-term fluctuations. It's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Time is the one thing you can't buy more of, no matter how rich you become. Yet most of you act like you've got a lifetime to figure things out. The harsh reality? You don't. The sooner you start, the more leverage you have. $1 invested in your 20s is worth way more than $1 invested in your 40s. And if you can't grasp that, you're already behind. Compound interest is a magical thing, but it only works if you give it enough time to grow. You're not going to wake up rich one day because you intended to invest. Intention means nothing. Action means everything. You're probably sitting there thinking, I don't make enough to invest right now. Bullshit. You got enough to buy coffee every day, eat out, and upgrade your phone. You got enough to waste on subscriptions you forgot you even signed up for. But you don't have enough to invest? That's not a money problem. It's a priorities problem. You don't need to start with thousands of dollars. Start with what you have. Open a brokerage account. Automate a small percentage of your paycheck into an index fund and let time do the heavy lifting. It's not flashy and it's not exciting, but it works. And while you're sitting there waiting for the next big investment fad, the people who started small but started early are lapping you. You want to know what's truly sad? Most people don't fail to build wealth because they lack resources. They fail because they waste time. They waste time waiting for the right moment. They waste time chasing trends instead of sticking to proven strategies. They waste time complaining about circumstances instead of taking control of their future. And then they hit their 40s or 50s and realize they've blown their best years. By then, it's too late to fix. The clock is ticking whether you like it or not. Every second you spend hesitating, doubting, or making excuses is a second you could have spent building something that lasts. You can't stop time, but you can make it work for you if you stop screwing around and start now. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep pretending you have all the time in the world while the rest of us get ahead? Or are you finally going to wake up, stop with the excuses, and take advantage of the most powerful wealth building tool you'll ever have? Time doesn't care about your feelings, your fears, or your excuses. It's moving forward, whether you like it or not. The question is, are you? Chapter 5. How important is diversification? It's the difference between playing the financial game smart and being an absolute fool. Let me spell it out for you. Diversification is your financial bulletproof vest. Without it, you're walking into the battlefield of wealth building completely naked, begging to get annihilated. But hey, maybe you enjoy the thrill of gambling your future on a single stock, a single idea, or a single fantasy that will somehow magically make you rich. Spoiler alert, it won't. Here's the reality. Putting all your eggs in one basket isn't bold, it's stupid. And no, it's not risky in a good way, it's just plain reckless. If you're banking on one shiny investment to save you, you might as well head to Vegas and throw your life savings on red. At least there, you'll get free drinks while you lose everything. You think you found the golden ticket, don't you? That one stock, that one crypto, that one next big thing that's gonna make you a millionaire overnight. You're so sure of it, you've thrown every dime you have into it, ignoring the fact that markets are unpredictable, industries crash, and trends die faster than your attention span. When that sure thing inevitably tanks, and it will, you'll be left with nothing but regret and the smug satisfaction of knowing you ignored every piece of sound financial advice ever given. Diversification isn't for the weak, it's for the smart. It's the strategy that ensures no single failure can take you down, because newsflash, failure happens, companies implode, economies fluctuate. That stock you're obsessed with, it doesn't care about your loyalty. It can and will crash without warning, and when it does, you'll wish you'd listened to the people telling you to spread your investments. And let's talk about the geniuses who put everything into one sector. Tech, real estate, crypto, whatever the fad of the moment is, you're all in, aren't you? It's cute how confident you are, but let me tell you something. No industry is invincible. The dot-com bubble burst, the housing market collapsed, and crypto, well, let's just say volatile is putting it kindly. If your entire portfolio lives and dies with one sector, you're not investing, you're gambling with a blindfold on. The beauty of diversification is that it doesn't just protect you, it positions you to win no matter what happens. When one sector crashes, another thrives. When one investment flops, another soars. It's not sexy, and it doesn't come with flashy promises of overnight riches, but it's reliable, and that's what actually builds wealth. The boring, consistent gains of a diversified portfolio will always beat the wild roller coaster of all-in risk. But sure, keep convincing yourself that diversification is for cowards. Keep telling yourself that you're different, smarter, better, that you've cracked the code and everyone else is just playing it safe. Keep ignoring the fact that the wealthiest people in the world don't bet on a single horse, they build stables. Warren Buffett, diversified. Ray Dalio, diversified. The people whose names you'll never know but who quietly accumulate generational wealth, diversified. Meanwhile, you're out here thinking you know better, riding the highs of your one big bet until it inevitably tanks, and then blaming bad luck or the market or whatever excuse makes you feel better about your own short-sightedness. It's pathetic, really. Here's the bottom line. Diversification isn't optional. It's essential. It's the difference between surviving the unpredictable chaos of the financial world and getting obliterated by it. So, unless you enjoy watching your hard-earned money evaporate the moment something goes wrong, stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Spread your investments, protect yourself, and stop pretending that blind optimism is a strategy. If you think you're too smart to fail, you're not. And if you think you don't need diversification, you do. The only question left is whether you'll wise up now or learn the hard way when your one big bet comes crashing down. Because it will, and when it does, don't say you weren't warned. And that's it. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've just been handed the blueprint for wealth, not a sugar-coated fairy tale. Focus, stoicism, time, and diversification. This is the formula for wealth. Not the BS you've been spoon-fed about luck, talent, or chasing overnight success. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about getting rich smart. But let's be real. Are you actually going to do anything with it? Or are you going to scroll to the next video, chase the next shortcut, and keep living paycheck to paycheck, blaming everyone but yourself? Here's the question you need to ask yourself, and don't give me some half-assed answer in the comments. What's the one move you're making today to actually own your future? Not tomorrow, not next year, today. Is it finally focusing on mastering something you're good at, cutting out the crap you can't afford, starting that investment you've been thinking about, or are you too comfortable making excuses to even try? Let's see who's serious and who's just here for entertainment. Drop your answer below. Don't hold back, because I won't. And if you're ready to stop pretending and start winning, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us next time. You'll get more straight talk, fewer excuses, and a roadmap that actually works. But hey, if you're still looking for someone to hold your hand, you're on the wrong channel. This is for the ones ready to take action. So, are you in, or are you just another spectator in the game of life?